How you all doing? This is Imani Mason with the Village Mindset, brought to you by Base Academy of Music, where we encourage healthy discourse and communication. Today here with me, I have a panel of amazing individuals from our BAM community, and I wanted to allow each of them to take a second to introduce themselves, what they do, and what their connection is with BAM. Start with you, brother.
I'm Dan Edwards. I am the board president of BAM, and I'm here to make sure that we can help out as much as we possibly doggone can.
And what do you do in addition to BAM?
In addition to BAM, and the reason why I'm here is I support artists. I support you guys, and I find often artists and they're creators, and they don't have that extra support system from like the technical business backside. So that's really why I got involved with this. And then as BAM is looking to build a permanent location, I'm helping on that space as well, because we own a lumber yard on 18th Street here in town. We grew up in this neighborhood. We're working to rebuild this neighborhood. So in Window Phillips, where we're located at right now. So hopefully we could build the headquarters for BAM here in this community, and BAM be kind of the anchor for how we rebuild for the next generation.
Me? Okay. I'm Brandy. I am a violin and viola teacher. What is I supposed to say? I'm sorry.
So give us your name, give us what you do as a profession, and also how you're connected with them.
Oh, okay. My connection, yeah, I'm a teacher. I teach the little ones. I enjoy it very, very much. What I do professionally, when I'm not teaching, I am an associate scientist, biopharmaceutics. I've been doing that for about 3-4 years, but I've been playing since 4th grade, so yeah.
My name is Daniel Cole. You can also call me D. Cole. I am a drum instructor at BAM. Have been for a few years now. Outside of BAM, I also play in a handful of different bands here in Kansas City, and have been doing that for quite a while as well. So yeah, drum instructor here and player for a bunch of groups outside of here.
My name is Marcus Rattler. I'm a professional musician. I do both sides of the world of orchestral and gigging bands and live rock bands and stuff. I'm a drum instructor here, so teach percussion, and I've only been here about 1.5 years, and that's really my main connection, is learn to teach with younger students. I normally used to teach private students with older people, so it's really cool getting experience teaching younger, new muscle.
Yes. Well, thank you all. Once again, I really appreciate you all coming. So I just want to get right into it. Popcorn style, all right? In one sentence, as educators of African descent, where should we be focusing our attention to pour into the next generation? In one sentence, anybody can join.
Opening up more opportunity for the less fortunate, which is what BAM does, which is giving lessons to kids that wouldn't be able to afford it, which is what I have a problem with.
I would say reading music.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to read opens up a lot of doors, opened up a lot of doors for me. So yeah.
Decode that.
It's a tough one for me to answer right off the bat where we should focus on actions. But I do think one big piece that can definitely help is probably self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Self-confidence could be a big thing, and make sure.
Well, one sentence, just give us one sentence, bro.
All right, so then the sentence would be, I think we can focus on helping students build their self-confidence.
I love that.
I think it's probably exposing, since you already said all that, exposing them to how powerful we are, that our people created this art from in the first place.
Yes.
So I would say the exposure to who we actually are as opposed to it being hidden by what people think we are.
I love all these answers you all gave. You know, the pillars of BAM is that we stand by is ignition, deep practice, and master coaching. But it all starts at that ignition place. So I wanted to ask you all, what played the largest role in the ignition for you falling in love with music? I see in your face, Brandy, you got something to tip your tongue.
It was something different.
Talk to me.
When I first started playing, I was the only one in my class that looked like me.
Yes.
So, yeah, it was something different. So I was like, okay, let's give that a try.
I love that. Okay.
I would say it's recognition just in general, just seeing when you see a kid has that interest, really going ahead and pushing for it. That's what happened to me is, I came from a family that did some music, but I would walk around and bang on shelves and Target and stuff. And I remember the day my mom being like, we're gonna get you in drum lessons, because I know piano lessons and everything, but seeing that fire from that student or whoever that is and pushing them to do it immediately and supporting it.
Yes, like that natural curiosity just to see
Yeah.
what something sounds like. I love that, brother. I love that.
I know for me, it was this feeling that music brought to you. If music, to me, I always said it's like medicine, and it creates joy and it creates community, and just continually seeing how it did those things for me and people around me. It just was kind of the cause for me falling in love with it.
That spiritual feeling, whether it be emotionally or spiritually, that music gives us second to none.
Road trips.
Talk to me.
We was me and my brother and sister used to sit in the back seat on our way to like Branson or St. Louis. My dad was in the Air Force, so we vacation in Branson and go up to St. Louis, and he'd have on like Sade albums, Quincy Jones albums, Stevie Wonder albums, and it was just like, trying to be like my dad back then, but I was five or six.
Yes.
So, but then coming full circle and you start learning about your neighborhood and community, and you like, dang, we created this stuff here in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Then it comes full circle. But I think it was just them car trips.
Yeah.
I don't think it was 8-tracks. I think it was tapes.
He said, I ain't that old. Yeah.
It wasn't that old, but it was tapes.
Not either.
CDs were not out yet.
Not either. And I heard you say you're originally from Kansas City as well. 100%.
Yeah, so originally from here, born and raised off 35th and Prospect, but we're in Wendell Phillips, so we're the next adjacent neighborhood, pretty much from downtown. But this is the neighborhood where we birthed swing jazz. The oldest jazz house in the world exists in this neighborhood.
Yes.
Still standing. Everybody who we know that creates music owes their heritage to this community, and we don't even know about this community. So yeah, to learn, it was some car trips, but then to be in a city where it actually fostered, it's just amazing.
Is it a similar story? Do we all have KC natives here as well, or everybody?
So I'm a KC native, and I guess that would be another big thing. Is Rob Latham is a great teacher, drum teacher around here. He was one of my first one I could still afford at the time when I was a kid.
Yes.
And he recognized that I liked jazz before I did, and actually taught me jazz drums before rock drumming, and I appreciate that more than anything, because most of the time you teach anyone anything, it's going to be that straight 8 first. And he recognized for some reason that I was really enjoying jazz, and ever since then it's been a huge part of my life.
KC native as well?
Yeah.
100%.
All the way.
KC native as well?
No.
No.
No, I'm from St. Louis.
Okay, that's not
but since moving here, I have learned a lot about the jazz scene and the history of jazz. I spent a lot of time being a tourist and kind of learning about that. So, yeah, I'm learning.
Don't feel bad. I'm originally from Chicago myself, and I've been here for about 2 years. And I'll say that one thing that I really learned about KC since being here is that there's really a lot of major streets here. Like, it's not like where some people, we got the Bean in Chicago, y'all got, 18th and Vine, Jazz District, you know what I'm saying? It's not no architecture. Of course, you all have art. Your art is in like so many flavors that I love. And so one thing that I wanted to ask y'all is, what 2 African and/or Black musicians or artists would you have a major Kansas City street named after? And I want you to think,
Would I have a major KC street named after?
and I want you to think of those who represent the most important events in our musical history.
Ooh. R or mine?
Think like of what it could be, anything from Beyonce Boulevard or T Monk Main Street or Drake Drive. You know what I'm saying? Something along that line. Like, what 2 artists, whether it's Black, African, that you will really like that?
And like 3 months ago, it would have been like Diddy Bop Ave.
Okay.
But
Okay. That's number 1. Talk, keep going.
I don't think we can Diddy Bop around here anymore.
That's number 1. We got Diddy Bop. Okay. What's another one?
I had to think about
Okay. We'll come back to
If I was to go KC natives in 2 different spectrums, probably Charlie Parker and Tech Nine. Because Charlie Parker is one of the kings of bop, and then Tech Nine is the king of independent release music in the entire world.
I love that.
So, and I've been a huge fan of him since I was a kid, listened to him since I was growing up, but I think a lot of what I do I take from him and not falling into one specific genre. Like, he does a lot of hip hop,
Yes.
but he's made rock albums and like horror theme type things where like it's not all the same thing. He's not a rapper. He's definitely an artist. And he's done a lot of good stuff for Kansas City and other young growing artists in Kansas City.
Nico?
Man, I was thinking of something similar that I wanted to make sure someone had like very big significant impact on like the scene and has actually like done something in the scene and kind of out there in the world. I think Tech is a good option.
You said who?
Tech. I
Tech,
think Tech is a
Tech
good option in relation to Kansas City. I mean, Janelle Monáe's also another one. She's Kansas City, ACK.
Yeah, yes.
It's still good. That's clear.
No, I feel that. I mean, please, I know that you really you get your reps as a musician, touching a lot of places, but on a national or international scale, is there anybody that inspires you on a larger scale? Like, of course, we love those Casey natives, but in addition, anybody else that inspires you?
I mean, like when it came like to drums and whatnot, I just think of people that I listen to. I mean, like I know Chris Coleman was a big impact.
Yes,
those people, those guys. So, I mean, it's hard for me to say, but maybe something in those spaces where people who influenced me, I would probably like, I would have a street named after them. Yeah.
Brandy?
No, I guess one artist that I can listen to over and over again and feel different ways depending on what emotion I am having in that moment. I would have to say Stevie Wonder.
Oh, yes.
Because he does so much, like his spectra is just, woo. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
Yeah. Beautiful music, beautiful. I came here actually, when I was living in St. Louis, I came here to see his concert and man, it was amazing.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I love that. You got one more for us? That was a baby right there.
Stevie, and I had to say Sade.
Swedish Taboo.
Yes. I love that.
Beautiful music.
We gotta come back to Dan.
Man. I mean, my list is always wild, but
Talk.
you know, I could think like I think producers. I think producers in my mind, but Pharrell.
Ooh.
Be somebody that can blend Pharrell way. Maybe is that
Yes.
what it would be called? Street
Yeah,
name would be called Pharrell way.
1,000,000,000%.
Yeah, just because he could blend whatever. He just blends colors, sounds, and everything. So
Yes, yes. Now, I really do love you brought up Pharrell. Like, one thing that he said, a quote that he said once one time is when it came down to inspiration, not to navigate with inspiration with scarcity. You know what I'm saying? Understanding that when a piece of art comes to you, you know, when you're creating a song for a competition or working on a piece of art, understanding that you're pulling from the infinite and that it's not a thing to be scarce about, like, oh, I gotta savor it, no, it's something that I need to, like, release, because to be sure, like, we have to understand that the same place that we tapped into it from, it can be for, like, someone else can tap into that same thing. And don't think about that from a scarcity place, understand that from an abundant place, that this one piece of art is not gonna be the only thing that I'll be able to share with my audience. So I, like, Pharrell is my guy. I really do love a lot of what he says. And when we keep talking about these Black artists, we talked a lot of recent ones, but there are a lot of OGs. You know, Stevie Wonder is a great one. Prince is a great one. You know, Ray Charles, Thelonious Monk, a lot of great ones. We talk about the jazz icons, and so we see what the greats did in the past. And I really want to ask you all, what skill sets do you all feel like today's musicians and artists of African descent have both lost and improved upon compared to our ancestors of the last 100 years?
Man, I think like I think definitely because of like how technology has evolved, people understand the idea of like kind of representing yourself and creating a story and marketing looks like. I think also just like also conversations about being authentic and being really yourself and finding like your own unique voice. I think those ideas, there's more space to really dig and explore what those mean and really represent that well. So I think we've been able to get that, but we've lost kind of also the space of like maybe the harder grind, the harder push. There's a little maybe like a little lackadaisical, I guess.
Give me an example, brother.
Well, I mean, like people are I can see hesitation when I have conversations about, hey, go out into your community, your space, to help people see and hear you and build a connection with your project or whatever it is you're doing. But connecting with other people in real time, going out and doing that work, people aren't really, as motivated by that because of social media. And social media seems like the kind of easy ticket, but it's just like social media just helps keep the story going, keeps the relationship, it keeps it there, but really just nothing beats going out in person. Doing that piece of it.
So it's definitely like social media has been a blessing and a curse to the artist.
Yeah. You don't want to like rely on it in the wrong ways. You definitely want to still remember that like all humans prefer real interactions.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think to expand on that is definitely the live shows. You can see it. I've seen it from the classical side of things, the more classical and not poppy, anything that wouldn't do as good on social media doesn't quite do as good in real life anymore. Like symphonies and things are having a much lower attendance rate, and it's mostly because those type of things aren't mainstreamed as a more palatable piece to say, lack of better words.
Yes.
And then I'd say along with that is music knowledge and complexity. I'm biased because I'm a drummer, but a lot of older rhythms and indigenous cultures, polyrhythm is huge.
Yes.
And now the biggest thing is the exact opposite. So just things that I think it's really just the depth of knowledge in the music rather than the base layer of what you're hearing right on top of it. It seems like that what's being shown is still great, but it's not as thought out as it used to be.
I hear that. And on the flip side, what are some things you feel like we've improved upon?
like he was saying, the presentation, the social media's done a lot with that, where people are at least able to, even if they haven't completed something, show an image or like show what they're working towards. Because a lot of people are writing songs. I've seen a trend of like they'll write a banger chorus, but that's all they have written, and that gets huge.
Yeah,
But
yes,
then
yes.
again, that the rest of it, that musical, intellectual part of it isn't there. Still great what is there,
Exactly.
but the depth doesn't seem to be as much as it used to be.
Mm.
I would say passion is missing.
Ooh.
I don't get, that deep feeling you get if you listen to like old Tina Turner.
Yes,
Muddy
yes.
Waters or, something back from that era. You don't feel that now with today's music. So
Mm.
people are becoming musicians for money and
Yeah.
not because they're necessarily passionate about it.
Yes.
So yes, that's definitely missing. As far as what's improved, I guess for me is listening to music and like building my own library. So I have like an algorithm. So I'll say like on Apple Music, play Brandy Station. It'll just play songs that my phone thinks I like. And then I discover new artists. Like,
Yes.
oh, who is that? I've never heard of him.
Wow.
Screenshot that, yeah. That's the one thing I like.
That is huge. That I feel like a lot of young artists are a lot more discoverable because of social media. Not just because they're posting, but the algorithm is doing a great job. Like you never knew that somebody in Detroit was like gonna be your favorite thing for the next 6
Right.
months. You never knew that.
Right, exactly.
What's your opinion about you?
I guess I'll come at it from, so I'm not a musician. So maybe I always am. Maybe
All day, every day. You never lose it. Come on now.
don't give up.
100%.
But I would say from kind of more the side that I sit on, like gig culture is getting pretty bad. And when I'm saying like the bad of gig culture is, I think it goes back to like, knowing value, knowing how valuable you are, knowing how valuable your craft is. And when you're playing for the door and nobody shows up, and then you keep playing for the door and nobody's showing up, you play for, $20 here, $50 here, and it just like it kills your spirit. I mean, I know it gives you the opportunity to play and create, but it's not the artist, it's the ecosystem that we built around the artist that forced gig culture on artists. So in other countries, other places, they pay artists to practice. If a venue is having something, they are getting paid. They are workers.
Yes.
That is their lifestyle. But in Kansas City, we've reduced everybody to the door.
Right.
Or venues have reduced everybody to, we'll sell beer, but you got to do your own this, your own that, your own this, your own that. And then by the time artists show up to the door, they're exhausted.
Right.
And then they don't really want to play the gig, but they got to play the gig because they signed up for it. So I think gig culture on the bad side. And then on the good side, though, and this is the flip of bad, but there seems like there's this burning urgency in like a handful of people of wanting more. Like they want the artists, groups, the network, like there's just a handful. It doesn't need to be the whole city, but there's a handful, a very strong handful that's like emerging. That is all like, yo, we just got to do this together. Like, we got to figure out how to do this together. We gotta pool resources. We gotta do this. We gotta look at shared healthcare, shared benefits. Like
Yes.
we gotta look at these things that, look at what if we all went in on a space? What if we went in on a creative space? Like
Yes.
so
There
there's
used to be a Kansas City Musicians Union, and it's no longer operating.
the foundation's not operating anymore.
A union,
Oh,
like a union.
so that was technically the first African American union. Definitely in Kansas City was the Mutual Musicians Foundation, and they I don't know if they went out, but they've been pretty exclusive, and they've had some trauma and histories, and a lot of people try to take our identity, and so they become very exclusive. because of that over the years. But yes, unionizing as musicians, as artists, as creatives, to say we're not doing gig culture anymore. You just won't have anybody at your
100%.
like we're all just not going to do gigs anymore.
Yeah,
Like until you start paying us this, or until this is what the expectation is.
exactly.
You know, so the good is that there's this handful of people that are passionate enough that want more, and if I could just help that handful, like I think that'd be kind of
So what's the saying? Two or more meet? What?
dope. Two or more touch and agree.
Go on.
Gone is in the midst of it.
100%. You know what it is? Like, I think that's powerful. And no, we don't need every musician to initially get the spark. But once that spark is there and it's really getting going, everybody else is just going to be embers and it's all going to blow up. So I really, really do love that. I think that is a powerful thing. And I think musicians actively need more opportunities where it's not a thing where I need to, if I do 25 here, 125 there, I can get my tires fixed. No, like, there needs to be more sustainable things so that if you want to make music a substantial part of your income, it should be viable, especially in the place where we call this the music capital of the world, right? The jazz capital. So within that, we've talked a lot about the things that we've improved upon. Technology has been huge, but we also talked about things that we've lost. It very much sounds like uniformly, we've lost the passion because there was a piece of wisdom that wasn't passed on. We've lost the fire behind gig culture because maybe what wasn't passed on that allowed people to say, no, this is what we need to do in order to continue to be successful as musicians in that capacity. So with that said, I want to ask each one of you, when you were young artists and musicians, what wisdom was given to you by an elder of African descent that still impacts your life to this day? Well, answer all at once now. Come on now, y'all.
Just
y'all
basic encouragement, really.
Oh, talk to me, brother.
I mean,
Talk to me.
Before my father passed, he was the one. I'm the first in my family to like leave the state and go do a bunch of stuff and really follow a passion of mine.
Yes.
I mean, he would always say, "Just go ahead, like
Yeah,
don't
yes,
worry
yes,
about
yes,
like,
yes.
affecting somebody. Like if you're doing you and you're like not hurting anybody, you're loving your passion, do it. Just go ahead and do it." So just having the encouragement to actually don't like expect to be this person or do the thing you're doing and do it.
Yes, I love that. Encouragement. I love that.
Yeah, my dad was also a big piece for me, especially when it came, just when it came to drumming. A piece of advice that always stuck out to me was like, it was more so a discussion about like, if we're going to set this up, if this is what you really want to do, then the time and energy you have here while you're like in the high school phase and stuff, you can focus on making that your bread and butter. Because I was like, maybe I should go get, like I'm in high school, maybe I should go like a little job, a little part-time stuff. And he's like, instead of doing that, spend your time here like practicing.
Yes.
So when you get outside, you can like really turn this into your bread and butter and make this a thing that like you're getting closer towards, so you're not to like work other situations. And fortunately I've been blessed to be able to like do that, be able to crack the code and turn this into a way that I can make money, with it, travel and all that stuff.
100%.
But yeah, just like, I guess the wisdom was like how I used the time and space that I had to like move closer to the thing I wanted, and like just using that love.
Not waiting until your glory days or your young years to really get into that deep practice. Nothing is stopping you from getting into it in the early age.
Yeah, just seeing a space and time that's available in front of you right now, and figuring out how you can use it to the best of your advantage, even if you move further just a little bit.
Yes.
It's worth it.
Consistency over intensity.
Yeah.
100%.
I'd have to say the same thing, encouragement, because I quit several times. So, lots of encouragement, and also I was privileged to have several Black male teachers.
Talk to me.
Yeah. So my high school teacher, African American,
Wow.
2 of the outside orchestras I was in was led by African American males. So me trying to quit wasn't really something that they wanted because,
Not at all.
you know, it was only so many of us. So yeah, I got lots of encouragement from them to make sure that we kept our numbers up.
If I may also add, you do play violin and viola, correct?
Yes.
And so
yes.
this isn't in an orchestra.
Correct.
And so within that, I have to bring up like how powerful that is that you had those black men that were leading the orchestras. Because for me, outside of the guidance I got from my parents and from like when I was at church playing in the band, all of my orchestras I played the contrabass, all of my orchestra teachers were either white men or white women. And I didn't get that first time having that black director until I got to college and was with the Tuskegee University when he was his concert choir. So, and I to this day, he's one of the greatest directors that ever led to me. Not to take anyone's light away, but I really do appreciate the extra time and effort he pushed me, because I would never be the musician I am today without it. And so the fact that you had that privilege at such a young age is beautiful.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, when you asked the question, I was trying to, so I started playing alto when I was in 4th grade. I never had a black educator.
wow.
And so like there was no, like the dope thing in high school was like you weren't cool unless you were in the band. So that was interesting. But I think my first exposure was family, my grandpa. And he didn't tell me anything, he just picked up everything. He just had a random piano, he had a random piano at the house, had a random bass at the house. He'd be out working all day and he'd just pick it up and just start playing. He'd be like, you can pick up anything and just start playing. My grandpa could do that, I could do that too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think it was the initial exposures, you know, childcare, early child care with my grandpa, just hanging out with him. But yeah, I mean, from a stepping back perspective, that I don't need to know. I mean, I can read notes, read music on the paper, but I don't need to know what's on the paper. I just need to pick it up and just start going. I don't read instructions now. I don't read anything. It's like, look at videos and be like, 3 seconds in, got it. All right. So,
Obviously, I have these bastard already.
so,
No, that's
you just figure it out when you go.
exactly. Now, I think that is important. And I know I battle with personal perfectionism, you know, like, and I get part of that from the orchestra. You're told to, whatever's in the paper, do it perfectly. Pay attention to all the little details in the sheet, and it's ingrained in you playing the orchestra to be perfect. However, sometimes you have to understand it's never going to be perfect. It's progression over perfection. You know, practice doesn't make perfection; it makes progress. But progress can only happen when you get started. So I think that piece of wisdom is second to none, where you just being able to say like, no, I took the first step.
Yeah.
You know, even if it meant I had to switch instruments, or even if it meant where you started, you stopped, and you started and you stopped, but you have that village and that council of elders always come back and say, no, Brandy, you're gonna get your tail back in that seat, and you're gonna practice this instrument. I promise you're gonna love it, because it's not always fun. Like, I'm sure everyone in this panel can definitely say there was one time he was practicing where you just was not feeling it.
Yeah, for sure.
Where you can look back to that one session and say, I'm so glad I put in that extra 30 minutes. That extra.
I cannot say that.
Well, not yet.
I'm not doing this anymore.
I would say that I'm still in my heart hoping to get you in a jam session, a fun jam session, a flow session where we can just have fun. So that's just a piece of my heart, but no pressure. In due time.
No, I think my instrument's becoming different now. Like,
Talk to me.
I think I'm trying to train my ear for just quality. And so like, if I hear quality artists, like I hear like Use of Days is like one of my favorite.
It's a great skill all in itself.
Yeah, and so like listening like chord changes, progressions, knowing like, you know, being in orchestra and band growing up, you know, people don't know crescendos and decrescendos. And so you go to a venue and then everybody's just playing it loud and you're like, yo, just drop it off right now.
Yeah.
Bring it back up and just kind of let it breathe for a second. So I'm training my ear now as my instrument to be able to be out somewhere. You know, the Spotify algorithm, when they put that new jam on, it's just like, God, dog, who is that?
Yes.
So I'm trying to train my ear so when I'm in person or I'm in public now, I can be more forward with artists that are getting it.
Exactly.
So
Not everybody can be the performer. What did Chris Rock say? Somebody got to play the tambourine. Somebody got to be behind the sound booth. Everyone has their
yeah.
role.
So I just figure I can do really well with that, bro.
I'm never gonna give up on the instrumental, but I love your impact though, because I would say every beat. I'm never gonna give up on it. I'm always gonna be there. But with all that said, I've been having a blast with y'all. But I have one final question. I'm gonna let y'all go. But I first wanted to say thank you once again for each of you all's time. Y'all are each amazing artists, musicians, professionals, entrepreneurs, scientists. You know what I'm saying? Like we have such a plethora of energies and perspectives, and so I wanted to say thank you and I honor each and every one of you. My final question is, as educators of African descent, taking everything that has been said today, as educators of African descent, where should we be focusing our attention towards the next generation? You ain't got no one sentence limit this time. I want to hear everything. Talk to me.
Man, one thing, I think, because earlier I said the self-confidence thing. I think where we should be focusing, I think there's self-confidence, inner acceptance. I think there are a lot of intangible things that don't really get developed well because so many people come from so many types of backgrounds. It's just, and the struggles they look different, and I think that creating a space where there's conversation and there's dialogue and words, where it's pointing towards like really understanding yourself and having what it means to like operate well and have like healthy thoughts, just like you have a healthy diet with food, have a healthy relationship with thoughts, have a healthy relationship with a certain set of things. So then when you're out in this environment with other people, it can go a lot better. And so I think just like focusing our intentions on, developing that as while we're in, these spaces, lessons, doing things like that, but also I'm just kind of also focusing attention on kind of helping the generation understand like the environment that we're currently living in and how to operate in that space well. So like navigating the inner and external environment, just like I would say that would help out so much. So much.
Yeah, I was gonna say education and intention. That's two words of it. Is definitely culturally, like education on every level. Like where do you come from and what it means to be the person you are, and then what do you intend to do and what steps do you take to get there? And it's those questions through every aspect of the life. And Clint was talking earlier about how important we are to the students, not just for music, but as an example and a person that they can rely on for anything, even if it's just like talking about what's ever at home.
Yes.
And that's part of the education too, is making sure that like the kids don't know that they're alone in a specific situation, and that the intention of the adults should be that we're just trying to help you, and we're going to make you do some things you might not want to do, but it's because the intention is that down the road it will be the best for you.
There's definitely a flow state. It's always flowing between, listen, trust me, this is good for you, and also I hear you. Let's make a shift to make sure that the journey is still something that there's a condition and there's love behind. So I definitely hear what you're saying.
One of my favorite teaching phrases is "one more time again."
Yes. Oh, yes.
You did it
Same.
one more time, but my intention is to get better at it. I know you were trying your best, so we're gonna do it one more time again.
Yes.
But there's gonna be one more time again after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a good one.
1, 2, 3, I'm out.
Yeah. One more time is not often one more time.
Not at all.
It's been my favorite phrase for a long time. I used to say it on accident, and I was like, you know what? I think I do mean that. One more time again, because I want it to be one more time, but we might find something to fix, so we'll do it again.
Exactly.
And then go home and do it one more time again without it. Yeah.
Like, you're gonna do it with me, and you'll do it at home, and when we get back tomorrow, we're gonna do it one more time, again.
Again.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I
I would say having more teachers that look like us
Yes.
would be awesome.
I didn't have one in college, I was gonna say.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yes.
The amount of looks I got when I first started here, when I said, "Yeah, I'm your teacher." Oh, you are? Oh, like, yeah. So yeah, more teachers that look like us.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome.
I love that. I love that. And I also want to say, I want to thank Brandy for coming. You were super busy. I cannot mention this enough. You are a scientist and a musician and a teacher. You and a mother. Let me also throw that on top of that. So we honor you in so many ways, and despite yourself, we appreciate you coming. But you really did. I see the light up in all your students' eyes, and they see you, every time. Because you have a lot of black young ladies who.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I would say the majority of your students, if I would say so.
Yeah, all except for one, I think. Yeah.
Wow. I think having that connection, I love that you're continuing the trend of my first black educator was not when I was in college. And I think that's important. So
Yeah.
Very, very.
100%. I mean, so, one more time again, while that phrase makes me cringe on the inside. I mean,
It makes no cringe, you don't wanna say it, but I'm like, I'm gonna do it though.
I mean, it's like as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, I wake up every day with that mindset.
Yes.
I quit every night, I cry, and then I wake back up one more time again, and I just gotta go do it. So you talk about ignition, deep practice, master coaching, it is that over and over and over and over and over. I think probably, because I remember, I think I might have been telling Clint the other day, but I can't remember how they talk about it, but when you want to learn a new lick, you play it slow this way and then fast on the backside and fast this way and then slow on the backside, and then you speed it all up and you mush it all together. And I feel like that has been my life, in business, and you practice it real quick and then you kind of figure it out, and you figure it out and you kind of hurry up and get it out. But I think those skill sets have transferred over, and but I think when it comes to the next generation, I have, as a board member, as an individual in Kansas City, I think there's an opportunity I don't want us to miss. We got to realize there's actually probably 2 or 3 next generations that we're talking about right now. So generation 1 is this room, right? The people in this room, what does this generation need next?
Yes.
In order to be better musicians, better teachers, better trainers, better educators, better creators in Kansas City, right?
Yes.
Because if this generation is strong, confident, self-aware, then this generation can go teach the next generation of babies.
Exactly.
And then that generation of babies that come up have these great educators who are healthy and positive and there, and then they kind of naturally build, this generation, if this generation is strong, they will naturally build up the next generation. So hopefully, just as, this is what the digital first generation, where everything they're on is digital.
Yes.
So I mean, what if not, this generation that we're currently working with, but the next generation that comes out after it is music first, where, because we built such a strong foundation as this healthy generation of people in our group, that it kind of boils down to where a kid naturally picks up an instrument because they're just on every corner.
Yes.
It doesn't matter where you're
Yes.
at. Just an instrument on every corner, and the street poles turn into instruments, the tree trunks, or I don't know, there's something crazy, right? But just really making that more accessible to where our generation is strong, because to me, that's most critical right now. I mean, I know the babies know it's real. I know we need to teach them, but if we struggling, it's hard for us to do anything. So when I'm thinking about next generation, I'm equally thinking about the teachers, the parents.
Put on your Austin mask first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah. So and to realize that you all are valuable. And not valuable. I mean, you are valuable, and to honor you all and to appreciate you all and to praise you all for everything that y'all done and continue to do. Because I mean, to have, you know, I couldn't afford lessons growing up either. Right? And I never had a black teacher, so it's probably like, I can't afford this, and ain't nobody pushing me anyway, so yeah. Like, if it wasn't for like probably trying to get girls in high school, like I probably would not have kept going, you know. But anyways, when I think about generation, I'm really thinking about multiple generations of like really trying to hone in and help us put our own oxygen masks on first, and then move to, you know, the babies and how do we help do that with them, and then see where it goes from there.
100%. I love that you say that, because a lot of times when I'm in prayer and I'm asking Creator to provide, it's definitely a thing that I always say, please give me an abundance so I have something to give to whoever I'm speaking to, whoever I'm communicating with, because I know if I'm just trying to give from my cup that's only half full, all we doing is now you have a half cup and I have an empty cup, now we both just sitting down like
Thirsty.
just thirsty. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is so powerful that, you know, that you really do understand and see the significance of making sure that the teachers are provided for, that the staff are provided for, that the community is provided for, and that KC continues to be healthy. But it starts with these types of conversations. And within that, I do everything 50-50. So I challenge you all, as you all navigate life, as you meet black musicians, as you meet other black scientists who also are musicians, because there's a lot of us in STEM who used to play instruments.
Yeah.
I went to school for engineering myself, so I'll tell them that.
I'm an architectural engineer by trade.
You know what I'm saying? So, and as you travel the world and do what you do with multitudes of artists, you know, and you meet people, tell them to come check out Kansas City. Not just check out, but remind them that this is a focal point for music. You know what I'm saying? And remind them like, no, this is not like, oh, I know this is what you experience. I know you only had white teachers from K through 12, but it shouldn't be going to HBCU should be the only time you get a black instructor. You know what I'm saying? Remind people the importance of encouragement. One more time again, remind people of that, understanding that. So within that, I also challenge BAM, and I speak to Clint directly, and he said, and I can say it to Clint, but he already says this every day, you know, BAM is creating music clinics that provides access points all throughout this city to do this, to answer these exact needs and do these things. So as we continue to move forward, let's continue to encourage BAM and honor BAM for what it continues to do, not just for this video, but also for opportunities that's provided for more black educators and for black students. So, with that said, I want to thank you all so much. One more time, this is the Village Mindset. I thank you and honor you, Marcus. I thank you and honor you, Deco. I thank you and honor